Hey guys, this is Franky, and this is Detention. So you know the drill, and today we are welcoming back Aaron Rodgers to Detention. So Mr. Rodgers, take your seat and strap in. So, as we all know, everybody already knows about this Aaron Rodgers controversy. If you want to call it that, or just event, however you want to describe this. But he recently went on the Pat McAfee show, and hats off to Pat McAfee. I didn't know much about him before, but I like it. Not big budget, lets people go out there and actually say what they want to say and not feel attacked. So anybody who's trying to get on him for not asking more questions, trying to, grill him, bounce off, because he let Aaron Rodgers say what he needed to say, and people actually need to be able to go say what they want to say, how they want to say it in a comfortable space. So then people like me and you are able to go and react and talk about it. So I took some notes because I was prepared, and we're going to talk about what Aaron Rodgers had to say. So, the one thing I noticed, he used cancel culture a lot, and he used the woke mob. Honestly, the mob, there is not a woke mob. And, sometimes it's not about cancel culture. It's about holding you accountable, whether it's for your actions or what you say. So no one's trying to, nail a nail into your cancel culture, cancel culture coffin. I mean, that's the one thing. He's talking about people are blatantly lying about him. And the thing is, if you listen to the chatter, no one's blatantly lying about you. They are just talking about, that you lied. I guess if you're upset that people are saying you're selfish and, just you're selfish, and I guess maybe entitled, that's not really a bad thing. Because of your position, you are afforded certain liberties that a lot of people would take. So no one's holding that against you at all. I don't know what blatant lies people are saying about you. If you're upset that people are saying you're selfish, people are saying you're selfish, but not because of the choice that you made. Arrogant, smug, how you answered and how you're answering on the Pat McAfee show kind of shows that. So there really isn't a blatant lie. If you want to have a conversation, which you say that you do, maybe you need to actually have the conversation. You didn't lie. Oh yeah. So there we go. Then, so he goes on and says that he didn't lie. You actually did. Because when someone says, "Are you vaccinated?" and "What is your stance on the vaccine?" When you said yes, you said yes. Yes, I'm immunized. So the fact that you said yes to, "Are you vaccinated?" Yes, that means you lied. If you go up in Webster's dictionary, vaccination and immunization have different meanings. Believe it or not. I actually had to go ahead and look at that, because I said, maybe he was confused, maybe. But if you are as smart as you want people to think you are, then you know this, and because of that, you're not getting a pass on that. So you did lie. And if people are saying, "Whoa, we didn't say what vaccination," why are you going to change the subject and say vaccination for the first one is, chicken pox, and then for the second one, now we're going back to COVID? So no, you misled. You lied, you lied. You misdirected. You're saying that if people or the reporters followed up to this, you would have clarified. And I'm gonna just call horse malarkey on that. Because no, you weren't going to follow up, because there was a follow-up question and you answered it, and you answered it in a way so no one could go focus on the fact that you're immunizing, because you misled people to believe that, hey, you are vaccinated and that you're not going to judge people who aren't vaccinated. And now we're coming to find out that, hey, guess what? You were not vaccinated. So that's why you weren't going to judge anybody else who was vaccinated. Who was not vaccinated. So you misled. So no, you purposely made it so people would not follow up. So I guess, hey, maybe I'll give you a pass and say, hey, if someone caught on, he might have, he might have followed up and further clarified on the stance of his word immunization. But I'm calling horse malarkey because you made it so no one would follow up on that too. I did like the shot you took at Kyrie because you're trying to say, hey, I'm not a flat earth, I'm not a flat earther, or sorry, anti-vax flat earther. So you're taking a shot at Kyrie. And it's funny, you're taking a shot at Kyrie, but at least Kyrie was honest and he was clear. He didn't try to misdirect. He didn't try to mislead. He did not try to bury. He just straight up said, I'm not doing this, which is more than I can say for you, Mr. Rodgers. Well, when you're going about this, because now you're trying to define, not define, you're trying to justify, you're trying to justify your answer. And let me, before I even go further into what you were saying, you know what, I'll wait. So you're trying to justify why you lied, right? I guess, that's trying to do, and by that, and you're justifying why you did not get vaccinated. So, and you are entitled not to get vaccinated, but I like what you did right there too. So you're attacking the credibility of the companies that are producing this vaccine. And I know people have issues with pharmaceuticals. They want to say that, hey, they're made to treat the symptom, not the virus, so that you're hooked onto them. And I get that. But I like when you're going to this, you're trying to attack the integrity of these organizations. And, you said, hey, questionable history, criminal activities, fraud cases. But you don't want to go further in depth about it too. So you're making people, hey, let me think about this, to not really think about the answer that's coming out of your mouth, to say, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe good old Aaron has a point. And then, you talked about the Johnson & Johnson, and yes, Johnson & Johnson had some issues and that they weren't sure of, because of different side effects. I know I was with somebody who took the Johnson & Johnson, and I think they got some inflammation. So I totally respect you not wanting to take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. But then it's kind of irresponsible to say that it was pulled, and not to mention that, hey, it was an isolated case on something. It wasn't put back, because you get mad because you want people to do all this research. But then when you're going out and you're producing this research, you're not putting out the full story. Yes, Johnson & Johnson was pulled, but Johnson & Johnson was also put back on the shelves by the time you had this press conference in July as well, too. So don't forget to put that out there, instead of just saying, hey, Johnson & Johnson was pulled and it's not coming back and stuff was not worked out about it too. Protocols, I mean, so you're talking about the NFL protocols and that you don't agree with them. Everybody has protocols that they're dealing with at the work at a certain time. A lot of them that we don't agree with them. And I will be with you in saying, hey, you got a point about the protocols do not make sense, and you don't have to agree with all of them. But you also can't assume that they are shame-based, because you're trying to say that everybody's going on a witch hunt to try to shame you into getting vaccinated. The NFL did not say that you have to get vaccinated. The NFL said you're still able to play if you're vaccinated, based upon what's going on right now in the world, because it's a worldwide pandemic, the research that they have, and the NFL's Player Association. They came together and agreed on some protocols for the players to follow at the facilities. So if you think that they're shame-based, then go after the Players Association, go after your union and your union president and your representation. Because if you think that's the case, then why aren't you going ahead and leading the players union, or getting a bigger voice in there? Because it seems like the Players Association has gotten a raw deal a couple of times, which maybe it's time for some new representation. You can't blame that on the league. You have to blame that on your representation and your elected officials in that organization. Man, guess what? Maybe they're not shame-based. Maybe you just feel that they're shame-based because you have to adhere to him, and that you don't like them. So you can't just say, oh, they're shame-based and not based in science. When guess what? Maybe they were based in science. All right, here we go. So we all know Aaron Rodgers. Now, he said he went to go, he went to go try to get exemption. He's upset that there is no, he says that, hey, there is no exemptions in the NFL for vaccination. But There is. You are able to get an exemption. A lot of things you are able to get an exemption to, for religious purposes, for medical purposes. But guess what? If you get those exemptions, if you're exempted from a vaccination, guess what? That means you're unvaccinated. So you can't be mad at the NFL saying, "Hey, here's an exemption." So that means if it comes to where you have to take a vaccination, you are exempted from this vaccination. But guess what? If you're exempted, it means you're still unvaccinated. Like, I don't know why you're upset that you still have the unvaccinated designation if you're exempted from a vaccination, because that's what it means. Like, you went to Cal, so Berkeley, you're very intelligent. You're a critical thinker. Some of the points that you made on the show, besides missing the overarching points, made some good points. And if that's the path that you want to go to, I support you on that path. But how can you not get that if you're exempted for something, that means you don't have it? So if you're exempted from a vaccination, you are unvaccinated. So, Mr. Rodgers, I don't know how you do not understand that. But anyway, the NFL told you by your own admission that you were unvaccinated in July. This press conference in August, you said, "Hey, yes," which means you knew that you were unvaccinated and you still said, "Hey," you said, "Yes, yes, I'm immunized," alluding to the fact that you were vaccinated even though you weren't. And then go on that too. That this is how we know that you knew what you were saying. You knew how to mislead people because you purposely decided to break protocol. And I get it. You don't understand the fact that you have to wear a mask, on the sideline. You don't have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask on a podium. You have to wear, and this is the thing. So you're upset that you have to wear a mask in front of the public's view. But guess what? Those are the protocols. I understand it. I have my job. I have to wear a mask when I do not want to wear a mask. And yeah, if I willingly break protocol, I willingly break protocol. But guess what? It's a protocol for a reason, right? And just because you don't like it, own up to it if you don't follow it. And that's what it is. And the thing is, you followed it to keep up your ruse, and you're trying to say that, "Oh, I'm shame based." It's publicly shaming me, and it's like, I'm sorry. The PA wanted to be like, "Hey, we don't want," and this goes back to your players association. So that means you did not have representation in the players association to say, "Hey, guess what? We want it so everybody has to wear a mask so no one feels shamed." Or maybe they said, "Hey, guess what? Enough players were saying we don't want to wear a mask. What do we have to do not to wear a mask?" So chalk that one up to your players association. That's what I'll go back to on that one too. And this is the thing. You don't see the point of it because you're saying, "Hey, if everybody else is vaccinated and I'm vaccinated and I get tested for something that I'm getting tested for something that you're all afraid of and you're vaccinated and you can't get it and you're wearing a mask, then why do I have to do it?" But guess what? If you don't see the point of it and you break protocol, don't you think other people are saying don't see the point of it and they're breaking protocol? So that's why. So you don't see the point. Other people think like that too. So that's why the NFL, these teams, the Players Association, they're doing everything in their power because of people like you and other people. So not just you, but people that break protocol. So they put all these contingency plans in place because we know people don't want to do things that, just are challenging for them, that make it, that are inconvenient for them. And that, not even challenging. People don't like to do things that are inconvenient for them. And you wearing your mask is inconvenient for you. And you don't want the stigma of people asking you why you wear your mask because it's inconvenient for you. And that's why you decided not to wear your mask. And then you're also saying that, hey, you're saying, well, what were you saying? You're saying that you did not sign anything. The NFL put this stuff into place and you did not sign anything. Guess what, Aaron Rodgers? You are in charge. Oh, sorry, not in charge. You are part of a union. Your union agreed to this. So back to what I was saying earlier, talk to your union. The Players Association agreed to it. You're a part of the Players Association. And this is why, ding, 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 this is why these protocols were agreed upon. You talked about this alternative treatment method. I could say you alluded to it. You didn't talk about it. You didn't go into details, but you're saying people are doing this for decades. You're really specific on that. And I know COVID isn't like the newest thing, but this trend of COVID-19 is. So that's the one thing. How can they be doing it for decades? And two, I know you kind of want to keep that between you and, your primary caregivers, which is totally your right. But if you want to go and say they've been doing this for decades, you might want to bring out some examples of kind of things of what exactly they were doing, but you're really, really hush about it too. And the thing is, you were saying that you want people to have a conversation. How are they supposed to have this conversation? And even Pat McAfee was trying to have the conversation to a certain point. How are they supposed to have this conversation if you do not want to have the conversation with them? You can't get mad about the woke mob not wanting to have a conversation when you're not trying to also have a conversation with them. You just want to tell them to piss off and not to do that and not hear their side. But you're saying that you have conversations with people, and that is fine. I hope that you're really doing that, and I hope that gets out so we can have the conversation to fix everything. You alluded to you straight up said GM collusion. So, Mr. Rodgers, where were you on the GM collusion with Colin Kaepernick? Now, what's an injustice that they're colluding to freaking sign unvaccinated players, or not to sign unvaccinated players? But where were you when you were upset when people wanted to go ahead and not sign people who were protesting during the national anthem? You didn't say anything about the collusion from them. You did not want to go and stick up for other players. You did not want to go stick up for your other quarterbacks. And now you're complaining about the collusion. And it seems like you did not even want to stick up for other unvaxxed players, which apparently you did. You said it in the organization, but still, you can't complain about GM collusion when it was happening before. And now you're saying, oh, now because it's affecting you, now you're upset. And that's what it comes down to. You're upset because it's affecting you now. It's inconveniencing you now. What happened beforehand, you kind of looked the other way. You didn't want to say anything. It wasn't an issue. You were like, oh, pass the buck. So now you can't become a deep philosophical thinker now because it's affecting you. Let's see. Speaking of that, I'll go on to the GM collusion. Another thing that really, really, really bothered me. You're talking about Martin Luther King and unjust rules. And the thing is, too, is that you're talking about, do not try to even insinuate that you are going down the path of Martin Luther King Jr. He was standing up for oppressed people. Because people that were oppressed just because of the color of their skin. Guess what? These mask mandates, these COVID protocols are affecting everybody. Not just your Caucasian self. So don't even think about trying to identify with Martin Luther King and try to say that you're doing the right thing when, guess what? You can still get to play football. You still get to do your job. There's a lot of things that you're able to do. You just have to take a COVID test and wear a damn mask. That is not oppression. That is not unjust rules. And don't you dare try to say that you're from the same ilk as Martin Luther King. That's just a hell no. But I'm gonna go back and, like I said, so there were some things that I definitely did agree with you, Mr. Rodgers. So I will say that. So let's try to get you out of detention. We're talking about, the vaccine. So we're talking about the vaccine, and you did say that it is, it does do some good things. It does help with your immunity. So you're not really disputing that, which was good. You're definitely saying that this vaccine should not be political. This virus should not be political. And I agree with you on that one. It should never be political. So I know you kind of think that when Trump was president, the right was all about it, left hated it, and as soon as Biden became president, the left was all for it, and the right hated it. And no, that's not the case. Certain people from each faction had the same issues with it. The rapid pace of it, because a lot of people don't know how vaccines happen. They don't see from cradle to grave about the production of a vaccine, and since the media sensationalizes everything, they don't know the timetable, or they don't realize the timetable this vaccine was in the making even before this was a global pandemic, and the work that was already there too. So you're right, it should not be political, and I completely 100% agree with you on that one too. Healthy lifestyle. You talked about this, and this actually touched me, and I totally agree with you. You're talking about a healthy lifestyle, and that's what we should be promoting. Because guess what? Healthier people have a better chance of fighting this virus and having less severe symptoms. And I agree with you on that one too. And that's what you want people to promote. And you want to empower people to make decisions about their body. But I will say two things. So I know I agree with you on this one, but easy one. When Michelle Obama was trying to do this initiative, where were you on that? NFL Play 60, where were you on that for kids too? And then where were you? Because I know you had a sponsorship with some Wisconsin hospitals, but not anymore. But you never saw you promoting this before when you had a chance to promote this healthy lifestyle. So when I'd wholeheartedly agree with you, we should be promoting healthier lifestyles. And we need to get everybody out there to be active, be fit. And no, not everybody has to be Aaron Rodgers. Not everybody has to be freaking, my boy King or freaking Dwayne Johnson. But having a healthier lifestyle and making healthier choices and healthier decisions to help you fight the viruses of now and the future is definitely what we need to do. And I completely agree with you with that too. But I think you should have been promoting that before, and empowering people to make decisions about their body. So, and like I said, you had a very, very good reason, so you say, to not take this virus. And no, it didn't have to be everybody's responsibility. But guess what? I'm not going to let you go and change the freaking narrative of what's happening. No one is mad at you for not taking the vaccine. No one's on a witch hunt for you not taking the vaccine. No one's trying to cancel you for not taking the vaccine. People are upset with you because you were disingenuous and loose with the truth, if it's even that. But you just freaking straight up lied. And now you're trying to say, this is why I didn't take the vaccine. And, this is the thing. If you did not want to be the face of an anti-vax movement, then right now, just say that. And I think Pat McAfee tried to allude to that too. The reason why you were disingenuous was because you were saying, that you were disingenuous because you did not want to be put in the middle of maybe a political argument or the face of an anti-vax movement, because you yourself are saying you're not anti-vax. You just have an allergen to two of the vaccines, and you weren't sure about the third one, which is totally fine, but that's all you need to say. But the thing is, you're not saying that. You're saying that you didn't lie when you obviously did, and that's why people are mad at you, and that's why people are canceling you. But guess what? They're not trying to cancel you. They are just trying to hold you accountable for what you said. And now guess what? Since they know what you said and you lied about it, now you need to be held accountable for breaking protocols that you willingly broke. And you broke them because you think they're not based in science, but not even that. You broke them because you think that they shamed you, which is not a reason. Because that's like me saying, hey, guess what? I don't wear my seatbelt because it shames me. That does not fly. So, Mr. Rodgers, no one's trying to cancel you. People are trying to tell you, or people are just trying to hold you accountable for what you said, how it came out, and how you actually did lie. That's all that is happening. So, you're still going to be fine. Nothing bad's happened to you. Oh yeah, and that's why one of your sponsors dropped you. It was because you lied. You lied. I'm glad you're healthy. I'm glad you have a very healthy immune system. No one is upset that you didn't take the vaccine, and now theoretically you're gonna have a better immunity than people who took the vaccine and didn't get COVID. No one cares about that with you. Everybody's happy that you're safe and you're healthy, and no one wants ill will on you. They just want you to be held accountable for your actions, which is breaking the protocol, and more importantly, lying when asked about it. And now you're going back trying to say, I didn't lie. I didn't lie. But anyway, guys, that is all for detention. Mr. Rodgers, don't come back. This is Franky. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow the socials on the bottom of the screen. You can see me in my day-to-day life, or, just take some thrills on some roller coasters. And with that, guys, I'm out.